Are you someone who's currently in the IB diploma program or considering getting into it, but you're scared or you're reluctant due to the perceived difficulty based off of what you've heard or seen or read on the internet or something? I would request for you to sit back, take a deep breath, and just listen to what I have to say with an open mind. Hi, I'm Tejal. I'm currently in university undergraduate, but I have completed the IB diploma program. I took the 6 subjects, I did the external essays, I did the creativity activity service, I've done it all. And I graduated with a good score. I will not be including my subject choices and stuff, and let me explain why. If I tell you personally what I took, it might add an unnecessary bias in your head, and you may not take this advice liberally. But just for the sake of your satisfaction, I was one of the top 3 performers in my cohort for my finals. And yeah, I've done it, I've been through it, let's move forward. So the most direct way to tackle this is by giving you like a mini story time. I moved to this new IB school in 7th grade. That was when I was doing the middle years program of the IB, which goes through years 7 to 11. Obviously we don't have exams during the first 3 years, but yeah, I was exposed to the IB. It was what we were constantly told about. It was what we were constantly idolizing in our work ethic. Like, you have to do something that is worthy of the IB, okay? So I automatically thought of it as something that is not gonna be easy, especially in the last years of school. My sister was 3 years older than me, so she entered the IB a lot earlier than I did. And when she did, of course, it was new to her as well. So I would observe her and observe that she, would have a lot of work to do. She would constantly be unable to freely socialize, mess around as kids, as much as I did. Obviously, I was younger, because of the fact that she had a lot of workload. And just people around me with their older siblings also being in the IB, I had formed this paradigm in my head that there's a lot of stress and workload involved in the IB, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to handle it. Mind you, this was at a very young age, right? Because I'm currently turning almost 20, and this was when I was, 14, 15. So it was just a lot for no reason. I just had this thing in my head. And as I finished my middle years program, I finished my 10th boards, the MYP finals, and when I was going into the IBDP, I was freaking out. And I remember one day, I went out for brunch with this family friend. He had not done the IB, but he had a lot of friends who did. But he himself was like a very academic oriented individual. So he was somebody who always paid attention. In high school, he was a top scorer. He went to university, he was a top scorer there. He was very passionate about his field, and he had started to make a lot of progress from a very young age, because some people are like that. They want to do more and more. And so naturally, 14, 15-year-old me took what he said very seriously, because I was like, this guy has done so much and he has achieved so much, so whatever he's saying must have sense in it. So my sister was talking to him about the diploma program and everything, and he just casually put in there, yeah, it's very possible for you to score 45 out of 45. And I was like, hold on, what did you just say? I was like, that can't be. This is just his geniusness talking, right? And he was like, no, it is actually very doable to get a 45 out of 45, because first of all, your exams carry a certain amount of weightage to your final score, and your assignments carry a different amount of weightage. So it's like an all-rounder thing. And he explained the entire thing, but the main takeaway was that it is very doable. And as small as this may sound, this was the first time that someone had shown the IBDP in a light where it sounded normal. It sounded like something that you might actually be able to do. And this changed everything for me. Again, I'm building up to something, just hang on. It was the first time since 7th grade that I heard someone say, you can do it, that you can work hard and get the results that you have in your head, that you desire in your head. And I was not a dull student. I was always a student who ended up getting good grades, and obviously at a young age you don't have to work very hard to do that. The working hard part comes in the diploma program. So I always had this block in my head that I might not be actually capable of working hard. What if like my academic ability stops when things actually get hard for me. But yeah, he opposed that, and that was a stepping stone into my paradigm that scoring high in the IB is possible for me. Okay, story time's over. Now let's talk about why we confuse suggestions with opinions and why I'm talking about this. Problem number one, we are drowning in information. I don't want to be preachy, but I know it's true. You know it's true. At least one point in our lives, we have just sat down and thought, like, I am so overwhelmed with information. I want to pull my hair out. Why am I in this world? Why is this a requirement for me? As a human being, as a student, as a young person, there's just so much information about every single thing. And yes, that works in our favor a lot of the time, but a lot of the time it doesn't. And we have to recognize where it's wrong and where it's right. Which goes to say that I feel like somewhere we have lost the ability to take something lightly enough as a piece of information that we can choose to fit into the rest of the jigsaw puzzle, which is our worldview. Instead, we take it as something that either we completely accept it or we completely reject it. I would conspire to say that many people did not put their best effort into the IB and did not give it their best shot to, really knock it out of the park because they were scared. They were scared that if they put a good amount of their effort and it didn't work out or it didn't get reciprocated into results, what do you do then? You know what I mean? But that just goes back to the thing about my little story time, that if you internalize the fact that you genuinely will not be able to do it, then you won't be able to do it. It's as simple as that. That's what this entire video is about. Like, if you internalize the fact that it's possible and it's doable, literally, you'll be able to do it. You can juggle all of these 6 subjects. You can juggle your TOK, your CAS, your extended essay. Like, it's not something that's an unrealistic expectation from students. As much as people say it is, like, I've seen a lot of this on Reddit and everything, it's not an unrealistic expectation. It just requires for you to accept the fact that it can be done. Because if you just think that it cannot be done, then you won't even try doing it. You know what I mean? So just because we're surrounded by information doesn't mean you have to accept it all. And okay, maybe questioning authority and asking questions is something that you're not used to. But like, at this point, if you're watching this video, you have the brain to change that. But once you're old enough to reason, you can realize that you can put bits of wisdom into your head and you can throw bits of wisdom away. If the IB went bad for someone, that has nothing to do with how it's going to go for you. You can empathize with them. You can ask them questions about what they did wrong so that you may not make the same careless mistakes, but it does not have anything to do with your experience. When you know who you are and you know what you stand for, you can navigate suggestions without feeling as if the only possibility will be failure. You do not have to be this insane genius to do the IB. Like, the moment you stop filtering everything that you consume and everything that you hear, that is the same moment you're letting life think for you rather than you thinking ahead for yourself. This video is not a breakdown of the IB. It's an attempt to alert you of the fact that you can figure everything out once you actually get into the IB. But one thing that you will never be able to figure out, unless you actively try to put it in yourself, is the self-belief that you can do well in it. That's it. Yes, the IB is a rigorous curriculum. My firm belief is that the education system is bound by certain limits. And in my opinion, this curriculum is one of the more reasonable curricula that are out there. It teaches you things you can use in your life. It teaches you things that you can move forward with in university as well. It teaches you to look after yourself academically and to pace yourself out over a longer period of time. You just need to internalize the fact that you can do it. If I came across this video a couple years ago, it would have knocked some sense into me. And I hope at least one part of this video gets through to you.